Hi, everybody. How are you today? Thank you, as always, once again, to the Regal Robot Studio for a live Q&A with me, Tom.
And me, Rob.
Here, cramped into a small office, trying to get through all the questions that we got. We're here today because of this little surprise, which came about because we had our Belloc staff that we announced at San Diego Comic-Con on the calendar. And while we were doing our prep on that, we saw we had a nice little gap, and we hadn't done a new Indiana Jones prop replica in a little while. And we thought, let's take one of these things that we've seen at the archives and push it through and make a nice little surprise for folks and something to add to their collection. So we'll talk about that more in a minute. But if anybody is curious about this, it is available now. It's available for 1 week only, and it's on the website. It is the Temple Guard Dagger, a.k.a. Thuggy Dagger, depending on who you talk to, a.k.a. Qatar Dagger, which is apparently what they're called. It's another one of these pieces that seeing it at the archives made us realize how cool it was and something we really wanted to do. This is live if you're watching it on Facebook. If you're watching it on YouTube, thanks. Please like and subscribe. If you are on Facebook, please follow us. And if you're watching this live on Facebook, please jump in on the comments, ask any questions you might have for us. Could be about the Temple Guard Dagger, could be about any other upcoming pieces we have, or just anything we've done in the past, or anything at all, life at all. Let us answer your questions and help you. We did get a bunch of questions ahead of time from folks who had reached out on our Facebook group. That is the Regal Robot Fan and Collector Showcase. Make sure you go there. It's a lot of fun. Really, really great group of people. A lot of our top collectors hang out there, as well as some of the folks who make this stuff.
Yeah, let me just tell you who's here. We have Ian saying, hi, guys. So, hey, Ian.
Hey, Ian.
Rick says hello.
Howdy,
Steven
Rick.
says, hey, Tom and Rob. Hey, Steven.
Steven.
Tiki Man, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Always Tiki Man.
Yeah. So we have the regulars all popping in. Parminder just popped in. I see him.
Very nice, Parminder. And at any moment now, someone will come in with just, whoa, when Alex Arnold shows up.
Nathan says, Regal Robot is truly slicing and dicing the competition with this release. No pun intended.
Collectible, for adults only, not for children.
Don't stab your friends.
For display only, no slicing and dicing. Sorry, our lawyer makes us say that anytime someone makes a joke. The puns are just too easy on this one, apparently. Do you want to, while people are getting settled in, do we want to dive into any of the questions
let's do
the people asked before?
Yes.
And again, anybody who is just joining us, if you're on Facebook right now around 3 o'clock on Tuesday, this is live, so feel free to jump in the comments. Say hi, introduce yourself, ask questions. We're here.
All right, let's hit a few indie questions.
Mm-hmm.
Robert was asking, is there any more indie stuff on the way?
No, we're done.
We're done.
Yeah, no more.
We're ending it with the Dagger.
We don't even like Indiana Jones. Yeah, there's definitely more indie stuff on the way. There is more decor for indie. There is more collectible / prop replica stuff for indie. We definitely have some surprises up our sleeves, and we have, the biggest one that has been announced already was the Belloc ceremonial staff from the End of Raiders, which we're going to be offering. Let's make some news.
Yes.
We will be offering that on November 12th of this year is when that will go live.
Mark your calendar.
And that'll be offered two ways. It will be a signature limited edition of just 100 pieces for the full staff. That comes with a wall hanger and a separate wood base where you can display just the head if you'd rather do that. And then separate from that, we will do a 1 week timed edition for just the head of the staff, the gold topper section only. That again comes with a wood base. The topper will be a numbered edition that comes with a small plaque like one of these, hand numbered. And the signature edition will come with a framed and matted plaque in a 4x6 frame, I believe. Mm-hmm. And that gives you the opportunity to either hang it on a wall next to the thing if you're using a wall hanger, or if you're just displaying the head, you can put your signature plaque next to it on a shelf using the little flap on the back of the frame. So we've thought of everything. So there you go. We're all done. That's it. No more Indy after that.
Well, speaking of no more Indy,
Yeah.
Jordan asks, with the Belloc staff having an incredible gold finish, could we see the fertility idol and staff headpiece in 2025?
Ooh. I mean, those are both things that we like. There's multiple versions of each, and we each have our favorites on that kind of stuff too. So I will just say, whether we can say for sure anybody's going to see anything in 2025, I wouldn't be that specific, but those are things we're looking at for sure.
All right, let's skip to a little bit of a maquette question. And I think this is how rumors start, Tom.
Oh, no.
Tiki Man says, is the F-Mont maquette still slated for late 2024 or early 2025?
Yeah. I don't know that was ever slated. It was teased. We did, at San Diego Comic-Con, we apparently made the mistake of showing a very good teaser of the F-Mont maquette. What I will say is this. It is in the works. It is something that we had toyed around with introducing at the end of this year, but we also think that's maybe a higher price maquette, maybe not the best thing to do right around Christmas. So my best guess, estimate, not slate, but estimate, is Q1 of 2025. He is well on his way in terms of development. He is something that we are committed to releasing for sure. We wouldn't have teased him if we weren't, but definitely not before the end of this year. We do have another maquette coming out before the end of this year.
We do.
And I believe after this video, we will put an updated schedule post up. So I can say this, I think we might have even put this date on the last one of these, but our next Return of the Jedi maquette will be on 10/29 of this year. So October 29th, just in time for Halloween, will be the next Return of the Jedi maquette, and that will be a signature and legacy edition, and we're pretty excited about that one. So, but we're excited about all of those.
Ian says, mistake and F-Mont should never be said in the same sentence.
He is infallible.
Let's go back to another Indy question. If I could just find it again. I lost it. Oh, no. Skip the Indy question. Manuel is saying, will there be a large-scale version of the Rancor skull?
Wait a minute. We had an Indy question slated there.
I found it.
So if anybody saw our San Diego Comic-Con reveals, you know that in 2025 we are going to be doing a Tauntaun skull, and that will include both a mini skull and a large skull for the wall. We love the skull line. We're very, very much behind that as a line. I think it's something that's unique. I think it's very us. And we certainly like the Rancor skull, and I could see doing a version of that for the wall. He's a little tough because he's a lot deeper than some of these other ones. But I think a lot of how of if we do a Rancor skull is very much going to depend on how does the Tauntaun skull do. And we'll see how that does this year, and if that does well, then Rancor could well be next.
Yeah. Well, Nathan says can't wait for the Tauntaun skull, so there's one.
Good. All right. There we go. Okay.
Going back to
believe that means the Rancor skull is now slated.
Early 2025.
Yeah.
We have a few people asking about who the next maquette is, and I know we both said we would not say, but why don't you do
this to me?
Why don't you tell them who it's not? You give them one character who it is not.
I don't want to hurt them, Rob. Well, if I tell them the one thing who it's not, it's the one they keep thinking it is. And if I say that, then they're going to spin out. I have no idea.
Feel you should. I feel you should say
that.
Yeah?
All right. It is not Squidhead. I felt like I needed the reality TV, like bump, bump, cutaways to the
I blur out your shirt logo.
Yeah.
All right. Jason is asking, any more prequel stuff in the works?
Yeah.
I would say that too. Mark is asking, did you guys use any metal powder in the resin mix to give the dagger that cold touch?
No, it is not a cold cast piece. It is it's polyurethane resin, and we do, I like to think, a very nice hand paint on it to give it a realistic metal look to it. There's also some just general aging and stuff on there too. So it's not just, silver tones and stuff like that. And overall, pretty close to the way the originals are. I will say this, the originals vary a lot when you look at them in the archives. And there are a good number of the ones there are rubber, actually, because a lot of them were made, just to be done, I guess, whether stunt performers or just for safety, or maybe it was cheaper. I don't know. But the one we scanned was one of the more hero style resin pieces. And that's kind of what we've gone for with this. And it is just all hand paint.
Alex Arnold says, I'm late. He probably has some lame excuse like being in surgery or something.
Oh, man. Come on, man. Yeah.
Priorities, Alex. And Brandon says, justice for Squidhead.
I mean, here's the thing. Look, it's great that people have their favorites and the ones they want. I do find it funny, like when we don't do one and people are like, oh my God, when are you doing so and so? It's like, we're gonna get there. Like I hope at this point that people realize we're committed to this line. Like, we're gonna keep going. Yeah.
Tony says, check out that beautiful axe.
Axe? What do you mean?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I'll show you later, Tony. Hang tight.
Wink, wink. Well, Mark says to follow up, the paint and aging looks stunning. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. We'll get closer to it later and we'll show it. Alex, actually, if anybody's, what is it? Can Alex post a link to your YouTube in the comments, please? And we will, and people can go and check out there. He just put up a couple of really good review video he did, and then he sent us a nice short unboxing, and that's on the Regal Robot YouTube page. So you can find that.
I do love this community because Nathan says to Alex, mowing the lawn again.
Boy, they really know each other's business.
It's really funny. What else? We have a bunch of people asking questions. Oh, this is a pretty good question. Steven's saying, is the new maquette sculpted by someone who's also worked on Gremlins with fingers crossed?
So that's funny because I can think of quite a few people who did both. Yeah. So I will say yes.
That's good. All right.
Yes, it is.
Right. I didn't want to answer for you. All right. Demetrius is absolutely gorgeous. So thank you.
Thanks.
You know what?
What do you got?
Just because Alex missed it, why don't you give him a quick rundown again about the Belloc staff?
Well,
even the way it'll be offered too.
So it'll be available on 11/12 of 2024. It will be available as a full-size staff in a signature edition with a wall hanger and with a signature plaque that comes in a frame that can either be hung on the wall or on a shelf. And the top of the staff is removable and could be displayed on a wood base that'll come with it, bigger than this. And so if you don't have room for the whole staff, but you do want that signature edition, you can display it that way too. Then the other way that we're offering is just the head of the staff, just the gold portion, with a wood base and a numbered edition plaque, very similar to this one. And the numbered edition head only will be available for 1 week. The signature edition full staff will be a limited edition of just 100 pieces. So people who want that full staff are going to definitely want to act fast on that one.
Ian's asking about the pricing on the staff, but we'll have that soon.
Yeah. It's actually, it's right where we hoped it would be. So.
Parmenda says, was it intentional to position the axe like it's cutting through Tom's head? Yes, and we're going to rename the company Regal Robbot tomorrow.
Regal Robert.
Tom is done.
Yeah. I'm calling my lawyer Legal Lobot. I'll get him on the phone. His little head activates,
David was asking, any chance of releasing the sword used by Indy to cut the rope in Temple of Doom?
I don't think it's out of the question. It's not something that we had on our radar at the moment, but good question. It's a cool piece.
What else do we have? Joe is asking, what is the estimate of the number of new ROTJ maquettes coming in 2025? And also, is one of them size noodles or an Ewok?
Estimated number of Return of the Jedi maquettes for 2025. I believe in 2024. Well, what did we want to run through them quick?
Yeah.
So we did Prune Face.
Mhm.
After that was Claw 2.
Mm-hmm.
We had who else? The Re is numbered, but that's not really a new one. We had Jar Jar. Gamorrean. Bib Fortuna. Yep. And then, I almost said it for the next one. So that's, and did I say Jar Jar in there?
Yeah,
I did,
yep,
right? So that's at least 6, unless I'm miscounting one. We also then had the numbered edition of Rees in the mix. And if you go back, just one cycle past, you also have like things like the Rancor and stuff.
Right.
So we did about 6 of them for 2024. I would say between 4 and 6 for 2025 is very likely. Mm-hmm. No less than 4, for sure. Can't really say yet on Ewok or Size Noodles. They each have their own little things to figure out.
Mark is asking, will the full staff be available as a standard non-signature in case we miss out on the signed edition giving its low number?
Right now, no. The only plan is for the signature edition. There have been times, like with Rees, where the signature edition sold out really, really fast, and that encouraged us to make a numbered edition later. With this staff, I don't know that that's as likely. It's a different type of piece, a different price point, also a very different level of work that goes into a piece like that. So I would make the assumption that that is a one-time thing for now, although never say never.
Casper is saying, any chance of a set of glowing Sankara stones in the future? By the way, love my set of all 4 stones.
Oh, so well, thanks. First off, thank you. They are, I'm really, really happy with the way the sets we did came out, and I feel like it was a thing that I had yet to see anyone capture right. We've handled a lot of the real stones that were used in the movie, and seeing a translucency to them and the way they were sculpted and things like that. And even since ours came out, there have been some of them that have come up for like high-profile prop auctions, originals, and seeing some of those going like, is that one of ours? Like, did someone reselling ours? Is a really good feeling. The translucent light-up ones, never say never. Not something that's really high on our list right now because we have other stuff we want to get to. But yeah, I mean, possible.
Gary says, any chance for monkey brains in the future?
I'll say this. We absolutely love that as a prop. Me especially. There are no plans for it right now. And I would say that, decisions like these aren't always 100% ours. But it is something we would love to do and something we will continue to look at. And there's a good handful of pieces like that we will, that are in the back of our mind and stuff that we keep taking a fresh look at just in case the opportunity is there.
So Steven says, and I thought Tom couldn't be in a more dangerous position than last stream with the Wampa looming over him.
Do I need like the the one?
You have a dagger in your neck,
the one in the front
of your head. Yeah. And speaking of Wampas, we have a question. Steven says, how are the Wampa wall busts coming along? I'm willing to bet a handful would take up a lot of workspace here.
You would be correct. They're coming along well. I think we have 12 or 13 of them that are in various states right now. A lot of them are cast. A lot of them are painted. A lot of them are having their teeth mucked up right now. Today is actually, yesterday and today was Wampa Dental Day. It's the reverse of when you go to your dentist. They actually make your teeth look dirtier. And then they're doing, after those get all dirtied up, those get assembled. We have a lot of the pattern fur stuff worked out, and I would say within the next month we should start seeing some of those start to be delivered. If not, maybe a little sooner. There's also, we have to get foam cut for them, and that takes a little bit of time. The giant boxes, big chunks of foam, so.
All right, this is a pretty broad question, but it's indie related.
Okay.
Serena is asking, what are your ultimate goals and what do you hope to achieve with the Indy Prop replica line? And also asking, doing each of the main relics from all 5 movies, is that something that's feasible?
So feasible, sure. Whether that's something we're going to actively pursue right out of the gate, probably, I would say all of those are on the table, the sort of main MacGuffins. That said, much like Star Wars, the Indy universe is pretty deep and rich. And I think we both, I can speak for both of us here, there's a lot of unexplored territory there. Pun intended, and I think that there's, we have a lot of things on our list that, like this dagger, that might surprise folks. And especially as we get to go through things in the archives and see them, the Belloc staff.
I was going to say the staff is one of them.
Was one of those things that we never even thought of producing until we saw the real one. And then once we did that, it was like, oh, we have to make this. Yeah. Like, I want one. That's why we have to make it. Which is generally how we figure this stuff out. Do I want one? Yes. Well, I guess we're doing it. So there's a lot of stuff that we have on our list for Indy. There's definitely a lot we're going to do. Will we hit all of the MacGuffins? Hard to say. Will we hit most of them? I would say 100%. And, us being us, in doing so, are we going to find those cool variations or those ones that maybe other people haven't been able to produce as of yet, certainly not in any kind of licensed fashion, and do things that have that little extra authenticity or that extra detail that, like, oh, I've never seen anybody do that version before. Even stuff like this dagger, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody do a replica of it. I know a few people that have got originals, and it's always been on my radar as, just one of those pieces that we might look at someday. But then, to see them in front of us at the archives and go like, oh, these are actually really cool, and it's something we can put out at a good price and, hopefully put a lot of them into people's hands.
Alex is asking, can we see the Graphicos from Dial, assuming it's easier to make than the Dial?
That's an interesting idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah, possible. Certainly possible.
Jordan, would ever explore doing the Shiva cloth or rubber beetle set with or without removable underside?
Yeah. I used to own one of those beetles. I actually used to own one of the monkey heads too from the movie. Times like this, you start to go like, oh, why did I sell that? Those are both things that are very high up on our list as well. Kind of in a similar place as the monkey head. I'll leave it at that. But they're things that we love. We would love to do. We have a lot of the research necessary to do them. And if the opportunity is there, we would love to put them in people's hands.
Sean is asking, do you think you'll ever do a minecart model maquette from Temple of Doom? That's a tough one.
I don't know that. It would be a model, not a maquette, because I don't know that there was just a maquette of it. That'd be a little bit of a tricky one, just in terms of how those are made, and models tend to be a little, flimsy and have a certain type of detail that maybe. But look, never say never. We've seen them, we've looked at them. Maybe the next time we're at the archives, we'll give them a closer look. A lot of people do ask about.
Yeah, it's funny. Ian's asking if did Joe Johnson do the work on that?
On the model for those.
Yeah.
We'd have to find out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He said that would be a great SIG.
Oh, yeah. It would not be a cheap SIG.
No, definitely not. Tony popped in with the High Roboteers, which I still like.
I know which Tony that is.
Yes.
By the way, at some point in our Facebook group, we do have to have a contest to name our logo guy.
Yeah.
He's currently in the hands of the Rancor behind me.
What about the archive collection for the Cross of Coronado?
Similar to some of the others.
Yeah.
It's there. It's we've seen it. We've looked at it. We know it well.
Yeah, I'm sensing a trend because we get a lot of people just commenting now.
Yeah.
Nathan says the leap of faith drawing on wood
Oh,
backing would be really cool. It would be.
It would be cool.
And
We'll just leave
we
it.
like that a lot too.
The problem is you're never like anybody's going to say anything from Indy, and we go, oh yeah, that'd be cool. You know.
Nathan also says, I love these more obscure, indie items. It's a great lane that you've taken, along with more obvious items also being released. So thanks.
I heard Nathan wants the bullet-riddled giant gong from the opening of Temple of Doom, full size with the big sword.
We'll sell it in pieces, though. Like every month you get a piece.
It could be like the builder kind of kits when you get action figures.
Yeah, it'll come with glue. Going back to the Dagger, the star of the show,
which
today.
we probably should talk about.
Yeah. Chris was saying, is there any metal in the construction? And he's assuming that it's not sharp.
Correct. It is not sharp at all. It's actually, again, built just like the real ones. It's a really, really dull thing. This is made from polyurethane resin. It's got a bit of flex to it. It's not like one of the rubber props that's like super bendy. And what's funny is in the movie, when you see a bunch of the guys going onto the bridge coming at Indy, there's a couple of guys holding it this way and squeezed tight. You can clearly have the rubber ones.
There was definitely no instruction when they gave these things.
You know, here's the funny thing about this. I had seen it in people's collections. We had seen it in the archives. We knew it was cool, and we were committed to making it. And when we started to do the research for the release, that's when we noticed it's all over the movie. Mm-hmm. Like when you look, there's a lot of the Thuggee guards have sashes, and these are in a holster on their sash going crossbody. There's a shot where like 10 of them pull them out on Indy. There's a shot. There's shots with them on the bridge carrying them. There's a bunch of them behind Mola Ram when Indy's on the bridge that are holding them. There's the guys that come out with the sword and get at Indy when he looks at the gun and. They've got them in their sashes. The guys with the bow and arrows have them in their sashes. Big Pat Roach, who's fighting Indy in the rock quarry, he's got it. Rock quarry, whatever, the mines. The first guard that Indy punches and goes flying across the floor. Like, what is in Indy's fist? Like, that's serious fun. That guy's got one big as life right on his chest. So, like, go back and watch the movie. The whole second half of the movie, like these things are everywhere. And it really made it was like, oh, cool. Like at first we thought it was a super obscure thing, and then you realize like this is actually you know less obscure than some of the stuff that like we've done in Star Wars.
You make a drinking game out of it, probably.
Yeah, you would die, but you could do it, sure. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. The funniest thing was when we were trying to figure out the stand, we were looking at artifact stands, basically. We figured, Indy's an archaeologist. He's, his stuff belongs in a museum. This belongs in your museum. So go to the Regal Robot webpage and you can order yours. But one of the things we were trying to figure out was there a way to stand it straight up?
Show them both ways. Let's get the consensus.
All right, well, so there was up, or there was straight down. Rob and I could not agree on that.
We usually agree on everything. This we did not.
We were like ready to come to blows. But then ultimately we looked at where the grooves were on this and where it made the most sense to grab it and to be the most stable. And what ended up happening was we came up with this custom wire rack. And these were all custom welded and cleaned up in the U.S. Not nearly as inexpensive as you would think, or I would hope. And they've got rubber tips to protect the piece. And you can slot it in this way, and I love the diagonal presentation, especially,
and we agreed on that.
I can't pull that out, but if you've got a set of stones next to it, like this is just a beautiful setup.
You got some air.
And then the other thing is, depending on how your display is, you can go in the other direction with it if you're team down, hashtag team down. If you go to the Regal Robot Facebook group, the Regal Robot Fan and Collector Showcase, we have a post up with a display fight of people saying up and down. Join in, say what you think. But the other thing is, depending on how you're going, there's other variations of this you can kind of do. You can get it more horizontal that way. You can do something slightly more vertical this way. It is the sort of thing where we've tried to give people as many options as possible with it, and try to make it, just better work for their space in general. And I think ultimately when we came up with the diagonal, we did end up in agreement that we thought angling up felt the most balanced. It put the more interesting side of it up, since this is sort of visually negative space, and it gave you that great spot to put other stuff next to it and sort of contribute to it. The other cool thing is this pivots within here, so you can do like kind of a 3/4 presentation without having to spin the whole base, and it still makes the base look like it's facing forward, as opposed to if you just turn the whole thing, which to me gets a little weird.
We had a few more good ideas for indie props.
Okay.
1-to-1 rope bridge.
Perfect.
Or 1-to-1 Club Obi-Wan sign.
I mean,
tiny.
the Obi-Wan sign's cool.
Yeah. Or Mark says the apple the guy puts in Indy's desk.
Yeah.
Totally. Piece of cake.
Someone's eyelids with "love you" written on them.
Yes,
yeah.
totally. All right, Gary has a pretty good question. Would it be possible to give us pricing info a little early on some of the items we know are coming? It just kind of helps to plan, and it helps when begging my wife.
Well, he should know we have a special service that if your significant other needs to not know the price of things, we can put in different price on the receipt for a fee.
Yes. Or you've won certificate. Right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we used to have
the Department of Special.
Yeah. You've won
again.
Yeah, to some degree we can do that. Sometimes those prices aren't finalized right up until the last minute, and we're a little cautious about saying stuff. I think we can probably give a ballpark on the thing hanging over my head. We can tell you that the next Maquette, the Return of the Jedi Maquette that is coming out on 10/29, will be $3.99 for the Signature Edition and $6.99 for the Legacy Edition. The Belloc staff, I know the numbers they're supposed to be. I'm going to hold off on saying it just until we finalize, just because sometimes things come up at the last minute, and we don't want people to say, well, you said it was going to be this price, and it's $20 more. So we'll just ask for a little bit of patience on that. I will say that, do we say it's in the full staff Signature Edition is probably in between our 2 Gaffy sticks that we offered.
Correct. Yeah.
Less than the Roger Christian Signature Hero and more than the Mandalorian version.
Yep.
Probably right in between or thereabouts. So, and the head only will be considerably less.
Parminda says he loves winning our stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hold on, let me make him up another certificate.
Nathan says he agrees that the diagonal allows for a great display angle next to the stone. So thank you.
Yeah, it's going to look, we put up a little video on our YouTube where it's like panning across just a collection of all of our different indie prop type stuff. And boy, it's cool seeing this stuff come together.
Yeah.
It's like we do these things one at a time, and sometimes you lose track of the nature of it just as a collection. The Maquettes sneak up on us every time. When we go to put out a new one, we usually try and take a group shot to show, like, here is the archive collection. Bring home the archive. And whenever we do that, we just look and we're like, did we do all this? Like, this is cool.
Steven's a little upset because he was hoping to open his Gamorrean box axe with the dagger. So.
Oh, I see.
Not sharp, not to be used as a knife.
Yeah, please don't sharpen it. For display only.
Steven says, is it fair to say F-Mon is going to be about as difficult to make as the Rancor Maquettes?
In a different way,
yes,
but very similar, and probably because of that, in a similar sort of price range. I would say this, the Legacy version of F-Mon will be more limited than the Rancor Legacy Edition was. Will it be as limited as the Gamorrean? Very possibly, maybe even a little more because of that price point. We're always just try to balance these things out and make sure that you maintain that value on those really the more when we get pieces that are more high end, having that lower edition size is part of that value, and we want to make sure we're doing that for collectors so that what they get really holds on to that.
Gary says the angle is right in line with the way they hold it. So,
true. Yeah. And so if you turn it the other way,
totally. Yep.
Yeah. One is holding, one's on the sash.
So I have a few questions that pertain to the pig axe in the room.
Let's bring that down. Let me move this before I move this to the side. This is available now. It's on the website. You can reserve yours today. We will be making them to order. It is a limited time offering, So we will set the edition size once we have all of our sales in and all of our retailer sales in. This is only available for 1 week. It is live right now. You've got to order it right away to make sure you get yours. So go to the Regal Robot website, click the Indy section, and you can reserve one today for $349 plus shipping and or tax, depending on your state.
Before we go to the axe, Ian says, is it possible one of the ILM legends could ever join in on one of these live chats? That would be really fun.
Oh, man.
Like, we've been discussing what we can do, and we have some things, some ideas that
we have some ideas. Yeah. It would be fun. I think there's a technological thing that we have to figure out. You know, we'd probably have to do this instead of the Facebook Live, do like a StreamYard thing or something. You never know. You never know. I absolutely love chatting with those folks. Oh, let me say this too. For anybody who hasn't seen the How We Weed Wampa video, go to the Regal Robot YouTube. Just search Regal Robot. The newest full-length video that we have is Howie Weed talking for about 30 or 40 minutes about his making and acting in the Wampa for the special edition, and it's really fun. He's right up there with some of the most fun people I've ever gotten to interview. And right now, I think the video is relatively low on views, so get in there, give us some views, share it with your friends if you like it, and because it needs to be seen. What his answers to everything are great. His stories are so good.
And then they'll know the inside joke of slower, dumber.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
You'll be in the know.
If you don't know what slower, dumber means, go watch the video and you'll find out.
Gary says, great price pertaining to Dagger. And yeah, we actually were really happy with the price we had.
And that is, look, we say it all the time. Literally everything we make is as low in price as we can possibly make it. So know that whatever we do, that is our number one goal when we're making these things. And yeah, I was really, really happy with the price on this as well, all things considered.
I'll let you grab the axe, and I'm going to ask you the question while you're grabbing.
Okay.
Mike is asking, what will the edition size be on that?
So, oh God, it's heavy. First off, it's heavy. It's big. Yeah. It's a lot of axe. I don't know how well the light is showing.
It actually looks really good. Yeah.
Okay, good. It actually looks good. Hey, wow, we did something right. It actually. So, edition size is, and there's detail on the end of this thing. There's welds. Here's the funny thing: the original weighs nothing. Like the original is made out of vacuum plastic and like balsa wood. This thing is solid resin all the way through. It's a few pieces that get assembled. It's all hand painted. Christian at the shop did a beautiful job doing the digital cleanup and bringing the textures back into the wood. When you get into areas like this, I don't know how well it shows, but this is all just hand painted resin, but they do such a good job of making that look like that aged wood that's on that real one. It's all the original. It's all grayed out, just even like an undertone on it.
And it's funny because as you're saying that, Steven's saying, is the stick real wood on this?
Yeah, but it is not. And the reason it's not is because the original has some interesting twists and turns to it. Yeah. It has some real specific grain and knots. And I didn't want to sacrifice that. We could have done this with just a round stick, but if we were doing that, it would be modern. Yeah. It would be very straight. There's even a little back bend to this thing, and I'd rather have especially the exact roughed up edges that the real one has that we capture in a scan than that. I cannot say enough. This is heavy.
Yeah, and this is another one of those pieces that we didn't know we wanted to make until we held it.
Yeah. The original, the whole blade on the original is vac form plastic. It weighs like ounces. It's so funny to sit here and like hold this thing now and be like, oh, this must be what it feels like if it's metal.
Alex says, that is insane. And Tiki Man says the axe looks so good. Tony says, I love it. So thanks, guys.
And even the little swirl on the bottom. I don't know if that's showing on camera at all.
Yeah, you can see it.
And it is, are we getting
you can see all the different
silver and the black dark and all the rust tone. It really
good on these.
It's a fun piece.
Yeah, even just all like the kind of scarring on the metal. It's really cool.
And it's neat because we're copying a thing, so it's like there's a bunch of scarring on the metal that doesn't get like silver scuffing or anything, which is what I'd probably do if I was just painting this myself. But because that's the way the original is, we're really cautious to make sure that we're not making up our own story, as they say. So edition size.
Yes.
I mentioned it's heavy. I thought I needed to work out before this. So the edition size on this is 100 pieces. This is a signature edition with Stephen Costantino, who played one of the Gamorreans on the sail barge. There's a couple of great pictures of him with his mask off with Billy D. Williams' son, Corey, who played one of the Klaatu's on the skiff. Each one of them comes. Hopefully, you can see the plaque there. I don't know.
And you get a little bit of glare on it, but
okay.
I mean, you get the basic shape.
I don't know if I can safely.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. So there is. They each come with the signature plaque. The plaque is mounted on this wall hanger that hangs with 2 screws. The 2 screws are mounted vertically, so you can hit a stud twice. So you don't have to go like 16 inches across. So it gives you a lot of options on where to put it.
You can display it either way.
Yeah, you can. We lucked out because of the big, heavy end of this blade. The balance point actually is right here. So that means when you put it up, you can display it either facing one way or the other. I believe we had it the other way before, so I will leave it this way now. I actually like those little nuts and stuff, so I like that side. So you have options. And I always like that. To me, that's important because you never know where somebody's got to put this in their room. If it was only pointing in one direction, what if there's a corner right here and it just looks silly? You know, the big end of the axe right in the corner, that kind of thing. So we try and give folks options.
Parminder says, if I won this, my wife would try to kill me with it. Only one way to find out.
That's it.
I mean, look.
Well, you should definitely go on our website on October 15th and win one, Parminder.
Steven's asking what the rough weight on the axe is.
It's rough. Yeah, it was a rough weight. I want to say it's about 10 pounds.
Yeah, I would say 8 to 10 pounds.
Yeah. It's over 9. I know that for sure because I remember working the numbers out. But it's somewhere between like 9 and 11 pounds, and holding it for more than about 5 minutes, I think it's about 30 pounds.
Casper has a good question. Back to Indy. Would be amazing to have a replica of Sir Richard's shield to accompany the Grail tablet.
Ooh.
Would that be possible, and have you had the chance to handle the original prop?
So, do you want to answer this one?
Yes. I've held it a very long time.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time with that prop. It's really
killer.
cool.
It's really killer.
Beyond that, so with a lot of props in these films, there's multiples. So we got to look at 4 different versions of that prop and screen match which one was used in the scene where Indy goes and does the rubbing. We have spent a lot of time with the one that we know was the screen used one.
Talk about a heavy prop. That's a
big heavy prop. It's really big. It's really heavy. It's real. It's all wood and resin and fiberglass and stuff on top, and it's an intense piece. Is it something we'll make? I don't know. But it's cool. We've spent a lot of time with it.
Mark is asking, do you guys include a note inside the Thuggy Dagger box stating it's a resin replica piece?
So we do. What's interesting, we haven't started shipping these yet other than our samples to Lucasfilm and like a reviewer. But adding the word resin is actually a very good idea just in terms of, not necessarily in terms of legally, but in terms of somebody from Postal Department or Customs Agency, that might be helpful. So there is definitely a thing that says this is a prop replica and for display only and for adults, keep away from children.
AJ is asking, is the wall mount on the axe the only option to display it?
It is the only option that we include. Yes. And the reason for that is because of the size and weight. To do something like this that had to be a floor stand, it was getting a little big, a little complicated, or a table stand or whatever. So we'll kind of leave that to other people. If folks get it and they want to take these off and maybe, screw them onto something else, they could certainly give it a shot. But at that point, it felt like the wall mount was the most straightforward way to do it and the way to keep costs in line where, we didn't have to drive everything up so much just to make it a tabletop. And on a table, it takes up a ton of room. So,
Tony's asking, would that style wall mount work for the gaffies? But that's just too narrow.
It would have to be 2 of them.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of people. I mean, I've even done it where people have used either things for large curtain holders or for baseball bats and stuff like that as displays for their gaffies. We can't obviously guarantee how well they work, but I've had good luck with doing that sort of thing with mine. I have one of them on my wall just as a Tatokia and one as a gaffy stick. So
Ian says, still pitching for my dream decor piece, a Return of the Jedi Creature Crew logo wall plaque.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where some of those things fit in terms of Lucasfilm's copyright. Right. But, you never know.
I am pretty caught up on questions, so why don't you give me the rundown on the Dagger again?
So, this is the Temple Guard Dagger. It is seen all over Temple of Doom. We were shocked. It's in their sashes. It's in the one guy's teeth as he's chasing Short Round up the ladder. And it is scanned off of one of the original resin hero props in the archives. It is made of resin, just like that prop. Is lightweight, is hand finished. I don't know how well can you see like the painted stuff on this.
Yeah, it shows up. Yeah, distressing on it.
Heavily distressed, heavily aged. It's supposed to look like an old, dark kind of metal with some little highlights here and there. I think in this light, the highlights maybe pop a little more than others. The originals it's a really dark metal look. The price is $349. The comes with a hand-numbered plaque on each one of them. It will be a limited numbered edition. We will set the total of the edition after sales have been done in 1 week. So that means you have only 1 week to reserve yours. Go to regalrobot.com, click the Indiana Jones logo, and you can find this as the first time on that page. Reserve yours right away. Make sure you get one. And then once sales end on next Tuesday, we will go in and tally up the orders, get all the orders from our retailers and stuff like that. And within a few days after that, we'll say what the edition size was. It's the same thing we did with the Shankara stones. Same thing we did with the Grail Cup for that. And it'll be really interesting to see where this one lands. It's kind of a cool, obscure piece that actually turns out to be far less obscure than any of us ever thought it was. But what is great is it is another archive edition piece, archive collection piece rather. It's another piece of indie history that is scanned right off of one of the original props and gives you one more thing to have in your museum at home that no one else gets to have. We get to go and visit this stuff at the archives, and for us, it sounds corny, but it really is cool to be able to share a little of that experience through these things. When I picked this up, it reminds me of how it felt holding the real one in the archives, and I want people at home to have that same feeling.
2 quick questions. Tony was asking if we had a price yet on the axe, but that's going to come soon.
Yeah, same range as we said for the Belloc. In fact, I think it's maybe $100 or $200 cheaper than the Belloc.
I think it's less.
But somewhere between the Roger Christian signature Gaffy and the Mandalorian Gaffy. And I think one of them cheats a little on the higher end, and one of them cheats a little on the lower end of the midpoint there.
And then Kevin is asking if we will see any indie props, products in our Black Friday sale.
I don't know about that. Certainly, we don't have a ton of indie stuff that is regular and on the site. And usually, we try to be a little judicious about what we put on sale. We want to maintain the value of what we're doing. And I don't know that there's anything in our indie line right now that's screaming for a sale. I can think of maybe 1 or 2 things, but tune in.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay tuned. If you're not already on our email newsletter, that's the way we send out any of our sales and coupons. So if anybody's watching and they're not already on there, go to the website, scroll down on any of the pages. You should be able to join our email newsletter, and you'll be alerted when we do sales like that.
Ian's asking, any new magnets coming this year?
Not this year, but hopefully very early in 2025. We have a really cool batch of magnets. Yeah, really new collection.
I like how you looked off to the side there.
Yeah. We have a really cool set of magnets that are definitely not
totally
right there.
Right to my
totally
left.
Not there.
Alex says, thank you guys for taking the time out to talk to us and filling us in. Great
you,
live
Alex.
as always. So thanks, Alex.
Thanks. Yeah, we appreciate greatly everybody who tuned in live and asked questions, everybody who sent in questions early. You guys make these a lot of fun. Everybody who joins us at the Regal Robot Fan and Collector Showcase group on Facebook, that is like the most fun place on Facebook. And we just owe all of you a big thanks for making it that way. It's a really good group of people, very welcoming. You know, they're nice to the noobs, and and we love the feedback we get there from everybody. And
there's never any fights. Like, be feisty, guys. Come on.
Don't listen.
I want to ban somebody. Alex, you're banned.
Oh no. He goes from woo to woo.
Oh,
whoa. So anyway, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, the real reason for this today was to talk about the all-new surprise prop replica of the Temple Guard Dagger, available now on the Regal Robot website. Go to regalrobot.com, go to the Indiana Jones page, reserve yours today, and be a part of what will be a very nice limited edition piece that is just not going to be around after that.
Don't miss out.
Don't miss out.
We always have people after that seventh day comes. They're always coming crying they want one.
Yeah,
so
it's always like, these end on October 1st. Don't wait till then. Get it now before you forget. Otherwise, you're going to come back October 2nd and go like, oh, can I join the wait list? And, that's a hit or miss sort of thing. So get in there, grab yours today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for not letting the axe fall on my head throughout this whole thing. And ooh, look, magnets. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Bye.